Hey friends, it's Renee here, and today we're doing our first video on our budget sewing, and I want to show you a few things that I did. I went through my stash and looked and see what zippers I had, first of all, what closures I had to make stuff out of it, and then I pulled fabric to start with that. Now I have several items that I've started and were epic fails. Let me show you. Well, I say epic fails, they can't be fixed. One can't be fixed, one might be able to be fixed. Now this one's got all kinds of fuzz all over it. This fabric just collects fuzz. Let me get it off real quick. I'm gonna use my little handy dandy lint roller. So I didn't know it collected this much dust lint until you buy it. If I can get this off. So I looked through my stash and my epic fails and things I've started. I have got so many things I've started and haven't finished, so that's one of my goals too. Just get it done, get it out of the way, finish it, be done with it. So this one right here is the one I think I can fix. This is a Rene bowler bag by Blue Calla. The thing that happened was, see that little hump right there? You can see the little bump. You iron Decaville Light, I use Decaville Light, too much and it starts to come off. So I think what I might do is just do like a quilting feature and go straight lines all the way through, or catty corner, triangle, or whatever, and finish it. If not, I mean, I hate wasting all this, but I will pull it off and save the part that hasn't been glued, the Decaville, and I'll save my little straps if I change my mind. Now I went a little further on this one. Let me get the lint off of this. And it's the same thing, whereas you iron the Decaville too much. This, you iron the foam too much and it wrinkles also. So I don't iron my foam in anymore. So this one, I can definitely, it will show quilting and fix it. But my thing is, I don't like my sewing around these areas. I'm not sure anybody would notice, but they may. Can y'all see that? Kind of a poor job right there and right there. Yeah, I don't know. I may take it apart and just save some of the vinyl and save the little hook things. I don't know. Then I cut this out, and this is what we're going to work on. I'm going to work on today. I cut this out a while back. Had cut it out to make a tote bag, and I never did. I bought the Divina. No, not Divina. Divina. Anyways, my bag stock, and so I just put this aside and used, which I love that pattern. Then I looked at all my free patterns and what patterns I had left. And of course, I'm going to do a Harlequin zipper pouch and use my new pretty vinyl that I didn't want to cut on, and I had some scraps of this, not full rolls. Then, you know that purse I was telling you about at the last video that went on sale and I wanted to get it, but I'm like, oh, I can't, I'm going to try and budget. It was the Aurora by A Quaint Stitch. And obviously other people heard about it because people started making videos on it. Well, I'm still not going to buy it because before all that happened, I thought I'd like to make a bag like that because I like the curved edge. I don't like that many zippers, but I do like the curved edge. So I went through my patterns, and the Swoon Heidi bag, which is free, it's a free pattern, has that curved edge. So all I'm going to do is like cut off this part and make a pattern, or however I need to make the pattern, not make this is a fold over crossbody, and just use this as my pattern piece, and for both the little pieces to go over. Check out the Aurora by A Quaint Stitch and you'll see what I'm talking about, because this will be a curved edge up top, and then she has another curved zipper pocket, and then another curved zipper pocket below that. I'm just probably going to do one curved pocket and maybe one here. I haven't decided yet, but I am going to use this pattern, and it's a free pattern. Swoon, Heidi by Swoon. I mean, you can be creative. If you've made enough bags, you can be creative on that. Then I found, I'm so bad. I know none of y'all like this, but I got all these patterns I got for free off the internet that I hadn't attempted yet. So I'm going to attempt those. And the Worsley wallet is one you can use. It only takes a little hardware, a short zipper, and a closure. She has a little L thing that you slip the tie thing through, the flap through. You don't need that. You can get a snap. You get a magnetic snap or whatever, or Velcro. I'm not sure it's free anymore, but it was free when I got it. She was introducing it. Then, the pouchless, is that what she calls it? Yeah. Pouchless by Tori. Seems legit. You can make that. That's a free pattern with budget sewing. And what was the other thing I was going to do? Oh, so let's get back to what I'm doing today. So what I did, I had these pieces measured out a long time ago and cut. And what I did is I measured out 12 by 12.5, and then I cut out 1.5 corners on both corners, 2 pieces. This is navy vinyl promo from My Print Broderie. Then I pulled out all my material. Well, I didn't pull it out, I looked through it all. And I found this old material. This is a throwback, and I love it still. And then I put Woven Fuse 2 on the back of it. Got it from Got Interfacing by Barb's Bags. I went ahead and put a zipper pocket in with a zipper. And this zipper is one I had, and it's a number 3 zipper. And I had it, I have some number 3 zippers, and I have some other number 5 zippers they're not zippered by the yard. And so I need to use them. So I'm using those. And so I went ahead and did my zipper pocket, and I used the pattern for the Davina tote for my zipper pocket tote. And so I got that taken care of. And I just used fabric I already had. So let's get started. This is so easy to do. It's just like doing a pouch. Pouches are so easy. Once you do a few, get it under your belt. And I say that, watch me mess up so much. I shouldn't say that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever piece we have, front piece. And I thought about putting some decoration on here. And when I went and looked online, had some Coach bags and designer bags. And they have a lot of plain ones, but they add like a little tassel hanging down, different types of tassel. And I thought, and then different color hardware. So I thought I'll do that. Plus I'm going to have my name play up here in a different color, or brown color. I went ahead and did my zipper. I cut off the ends because they had the metal ends, because it's not zippered by the yard. It's number 5. I got these off Etsy a while back. And then I made zipper tabs because it's easier when you're doing this, and it's easier to get it shaped up top across. So I found that I marked the center. Oh, if you don't know how to add the zipper tabs, I just usually cut 2 by 1.5 or 2 by 2 pieces of material, and then you just put it like this, sew it across. Oh, I got to top stitch it. I forgot to top stitch it. And then you pull it back, iron it back, and top stitch across. And that's what I'm doing for both of these. So let me top stitch those. Let me move you down. I'm just going to top stitch across here. Oop, I'm running over my mic. Long string here. Let me get this right. I gotta tuck this somewhere because I'm gonna be running over it. I need some music first so I can get my technical difficulties straightened out here. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a top stitch across. Let's put it at a 4 stitch length. Back stitch, I'm sewing on my Rene HD 3000. It is all mechanical. And what's funny is my Juki, which is a semi-industrial, it does sew on vinyl easier than this sometimes, but as far as going over thickness, it still struggles like a regular domestic machine. And it is faster, but you know, I don't sew that fast, so I'm not a speed demon. Wish I would. I want to be. I'm a wannabe, but I'm not, because I know that I will totally mess it up if I sew too fast. But what's funny is this, you thread the needle from the front here, and on the Juki and on my vintage sewing machine, my vintage Singer, you do it from the side. And so I got used to doing it from the side, and I'm like trying to get the thread in. I'm like, why ain't it going in? Well, because it's from the front. You have to thread from the front. So you have to adjust when you switch machines. Okay, so I top stitched both those, and now we're going to lay it. I need to find the center of this. I might as well do that for each piece. Let me pull you up a little bit so you can see. Not that you need to see, but in case you haven't done this before, I'm just going to find the center. I'm going to make a little snip. I'm going to do each piece, so it'll be done. And this blue vinyl, navy, pretty. So pretty. I straightened my sewing room today. Y'all be proud of me. That's why I'm sewing so late and it looks kind of dark. It is 6:54 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. And I already marked those. Yep, I already marked those. Oh, and also what I did, which you might want to do before you cut your squares out at the bottom, is mark which is top, because the shorter end, 12, goes across and the 12.5 goes down. So you don't get confused when you start putting things in. So we're going to take our front piece right side up, and we're going to put our zipper right side down. Now, what I usually do, let me get my clips, is base stitch this on, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, once I get this clip, put this on top and sew it all at once. Either way, which way you feel comfortable. If this is, you know, you're still getting used to zippers, do it one at a time and just base stitch this. Clip, clip, clip. We picked up an antique secretary from a relative of my husband's. And so I put it right there where y'all are sitting on. And I'm going to put my lining piece right side down, because I'm going to flip it back. It'll go like that, and we'll top stitch. So I'm going to add my lining piece to the center, line up with the other centers. I'm going to sew it at one time. I'm going to move my stitch length back to attaching stitch, which is usually 2.5 for me. And I am going to put my zipper foot on. This is so simple as far as putting your zipper foot on. You just hit the back and it falls down. That is nice. With the Juki, you have to get the screwdriver out and switch it out. I'm using a denim needle. It's about to come off. I better tighten that up. Where's my little screwdriver to tighten that up? Let me reach in front of you guys. Okay, I have a little screwdriver. These are all my needles, and I usually keep my little screwdriver in here with them. So of course I don't today. Of course. Of course, of course, of course. No problem though, I can find another screwdriver. I keep several screwdrivers in my sewing room. This one's not really the one that goes with it, but it will work. I need a thicker one. Okay, so here we go. We're going to sew our zipper on. We're going to find the foot pedal. And I do about, what is that? A little less than a quarter. I might do a little bit less than that too, because you're going to top stitch it. I just line up in the kind of the middle of my zipper foot. Back stitch. And rolling on. Needle down, move your zipper, pull. And that kind of moved it, didn't it? And just sew on. Okay. Kind of went crooked. I may have to do this again. It's still okay up there. So we're going to fold this back, and I'm going to iron it from the other side, because you don't want to iron vinyl. And then we're going to top stitch. So let me iron it. My little iron table over here. I need to get a new cover, because this one's pretty much stained. We've got all kinds of sticky stuff on it, from interfacings and glues. I'm using steam, but I'm not leaving it on a long time because of vinyl. I just want to get it steam so it'll be easier to top stitch. You don't have to do this if you're good about folding it over and going with it. Go for it. So now I'm going to switch to my Teflon foot to go over the vinyl, because I'm going to top stitch. And that's another thing my Judy doesn't have. All my presser feet pretty much, except for a few, fit on top of my machine. If it doesn't have a little, like my Teflon foot didn't come with my machine, I had to order it, so it didn't have a slide up there, so but I just put it up there, lay it in a spot that doesn't get in the way. So now we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch, number 4, I'm gonna line it up. Let's see, let me move it to a 4, and here we go. Back stitch. I need to lessen my pressure on my presser foot, and my knob's up here to lessen it. There we go. We had to go over those humps. I hope it's sewing correctly. I have to go slow when I top stitch, or the stitches will be so small. I don't know why it does it. It does it on my Juki too. You see, I had to push this a little bit to go over the humps here, right here at the ends. On my Juki, I probably would not have had to do that, because this isn't real thick, but it's thick for my domestic. You have to adjust to every machine. Every machine has its issues. There's no perfect machine, that is for sure. No perfect sewer, no perfect machine. Okay, so I top stitched. And now we're going to add the other side. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put right side front, right side to back. Move the zipper pull out of the way, move it over this way. Match up the centers. pull some of these out. You don't have to listen to me grab them. I'm going to put the back on first before I put the lining. And you just clip it. It felt so good to straighten my sewing room today. Oh, I found my other, I had ordered another one of these because I couldn't find this one. It was behind my embroidery machine. I looked everywhere. And now I put 2 hooks over here where I can just hang them back up and I can find them again. I do need to do some embroidery. Do y'all want to see some embroidery on my machine? I need to make some key fobs and what was this other new thing I was gonna make? And so now I got this right sides together with the front and back, and now I'm gonna put these right sides together, matching the centers. My embroidery machine's pretty old. My first sewing machine ever, my husband bought me when we were first married. It'll be 28 years in October, and it was a Kenmore, and I loved it. I took a night course. I took a course in middle school, or high, we called it junior high back then. But then when we got married, I took a, what's it called, adult education, I think, at a junior college at night, and I learned more. Now I'm going to put my zipper foot back on, and then I wanted to embroider, and so my dad bought me a Brother sewing machine, bottom of the line from Walmart years ago. Loved the little Brother, but it's only a 4x4, and so I wanted to do bigger things. And so years later, right before we moved to Georgia, which is, we've been up here a while, there was a used Janome MC 9700, and it was in our budget, and so I got it. It's a sewing and embroidery machine, and I love it, and I still have it. But I don't want to sew on it because, and it's a good little sewer, it sews better than this one. But as far as through thick stuff, I think my Memory Craft does better. Maybe not, maybe it's about the same. But I want to save it for embroidery, so now I just embroider on it. Okay, moving back to a 2.5 stitch length. Finding my zipper foot, my pressure foot, back stitch. Move right along. I may have to lessen the pressure on the pressure foot. No, it's going pretty good. That's a constant thing with manual machines. You gotta adjust the pressure on your pressure foot. Depending on what you're sewing, that's just the way it is. Okay, I'm going to move this back a little bit this way. Needle down, move my pull out of the way, pull your pressure foot up. Is this a good view? Can y'all see me? See me sew? Back stitch. Oops. I probably drop about 10 a day when I'm sewing on clips. I just leave them there until the end of the day. That's why you buy a bunch of them. Got them on Amazon. I don't buy the expensive ones. Okay, so I'm going to fold this side back. I'm going to iron this side, and then I'm going to top stitch on the other side. Let me iron. My little iron, I got to get me another one I got from Walmart that helps me iron inside bags that are, you know, small, can reach in there. Won't turn on. I mean, I did drop it a few times, but we're always dropping irons around here. So I'm going to have to get me another little one. I think it's $12.99 at Walmart. Okay, so we let this cool. Change back to my Teflon foot. And then we'll top stitch this side. Let's see, I'm going to turn it this way. Oops. Because I got it marked on this side of the foot by where the 1/8 of an inch is. Move it to a 4. It's going to need a little push. Maybe a lot of push. I need less than the pressure even more. You can always do your walking foot if you have one. I just don't do well keeping straight when I'm top stitching with the walking foot. When I'm putting the bags together on this machine, I do use it. Not every time, but I have used it a lot. Okay. Not bad, not bad. So now we have our zipper in. Now this is the easiest way to put together a bag. Linings together and front and back panels together, main panels together. And we're going to stitch down this side, across here, down this side, all the way down. And then we're going to leave an opening, a little bit of an opening. I could put it through here because I left that open, but I don't think I am. Am I? No. I'm just going to make it easy. So I'm going to leave a gap at the lining to open it. And I'm going to sew here. And when you want your zipper, let me get this, when you pull it together. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Add strap handle things. Ooh. I think I can add that. No, I can add it now. Can I add it now? That's not where I want. I want it on the side. So I think I'll, what am I going to do? I can add them to the front. That's what I should have done, was add my handle to the front. Okay, let me get some handles and then we'll continue. Okay, so I'm back. I got my strap, one strap done, and this is my other one. So y'all have seen straps, but in case you haven't, this is what I do. I draw a line down the center, and then I've used, this is 1/2 inch. I use 1/2 inch double-sided tape, and I use the basting tape, not the other tape, because your needle's going to stick to this anyway. So you don't want to stick too much where it ruins your thread. So I'm going to pull off the top of this. I think I am. Okay. And, you know, I don't always get it even right in the center. You just line up to your line, almost to your line. Because you want a little bit of gap because you're going to be folding over again. I usually start this in. So I'm going to start this in and just fold over, taking it up to the line. Y'all know how to do this. Tape is sticky. And we just do the other side now. Okay, and then, so I did that, and now we're going to fold it again. We're going to fold it over in the center again. And I'm going to use my hair clips. String in there. Strings everywhere. Clips everywhere on the floor, strings everywhere on the floor. And I use these instead of these because it'll leave an imprint. And just go down and clip it, matching up your open seam. So I'm going to top stitch across here all the way down and then back up the other side. This is the side that the needle's going to struggle with. Now let me tell you what I do. Once I do one side, I clean the needle. You can feel it sticky and then your thread gets stuck and it gets a nest. And so I use alcohol white pads. You don't have to buy these. I already had them on hand because I was doing another project with my Silhouette Cameo 3. And so I bought these off of Amazon. You can get alcohol and a paper towel and just go to your needle and wipe it off. Let me turn you more back that way. So I'm going to top stitch these. I don't really think I need to watch me top stitch, but I'll start it. So number 4 stitch length. I do this every time, so I'm going to do it this way because it's easier to pull off the clips. This is right side of the clips. 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And roll it to the end. You can press your foot down, needle down, and just, I have to go very slow or my stitches will go small. On we go. And my pressure on my presser foot is at the lowest, least amount of pressure. It's just kind of flopping, so I may need to add more pressure. But that way it doesn't get stuck and stretch your vinyl, because this vinyl is very pliable and it will stretch if you have too much pressure on it. These before they fall into no man's land. This side doesn't have any of the tape that we did on it, but the other side does, and that's where it gets real tricky. But I've already done one strap and I didn't have an issue. I took it very slow. Needle down, press your foot up, and pivot. I need to go a little bit further. I'm just going to walk it. There we go. So I can get my 1/8. Not that it's going to matter because you're not going to see this. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to live on the edge today. I like that. Let me go back. Oh, still one more. Well, it's on the edge. Okay, so now we're going down. This is the side with the tape on that I'm going down, and I take it very slow, and I may have to stop and alcohol the needle. You just have to keep checking it, but take your time. I mean, I go super slow on this side. Trying just to stay consistent. Look at my needle every now and then and see if I see any stuff stuck to it. Looking good. Okay. If you don't have any nests on the back, we're doing good. To me, the basting tape will still do it every now and then, make your needle too sticky, but it's much better than that other tape. It's a little more sticky than basting tape. Back stitch. Trim your threads. Okay, let's see how we did. Oh, beautiful. It worked. Okay, so now, I have never tried this until now, but the way we're going to attach our straps is a little tricky. I was thinking about how can I do this, because you know, I should have attached them beforehand, but you could still do the other way and attach them. The easiest way would be to have end caps and just put these on the end and then just sew it from the outside, and that way it hides the end. Well, not everybody has these, and you know, we're trying to do budget sewing. I think I only got about 8 left, and so I thought, well, this is kind of a do-it-yourself pattern. We'll see how it comes out. Let's just give it a shot. Let's live on the edge. So I already did one side, and I top stitched across here twice, and did a square, and I cut the slit. So let me tell you how I did it. I separated the lining out, and I took my little handy dandy ruler. I don't like to tell everybody to go out and buy stuff, but this one I use all the time. This, and let me see if I can get it out. I got it on a hook over here. This one and this one. This one I bought off Amazon. It was $6 something, but if you go to Hobby Lobby, if you're in the United States, they're $3.99. This one, it's a 15 inch, 14 inch, and it's 2.5 inches. I think I got that from Missouri Star Quilt website, but I think it's on Amazon too. I can't remember. I want to say it's like $14.95, but don't go out and spend any money. If you don't have it, you can make do with what you have. So what I did is I measured 2.5 inches down. I think it was 2.5, maybe 2. I think it was 2. 2 inches down, and drew my line. And I used my chalk pen because when you mark on vinyl with the friction pens, the mark stays there. The ink will go away, but the mark stays there. So I don't do that anymore. So I marked there, and I measured, this is 12 across, so I measured the 6 as the center, because you want to find your center. And then you measure across. I went 2.5 inches or 2.25 inches from the center on each side, and I marked that. So now I'm going to take my, and I marked the edge. I don't know if y'all can see that very well, but I did a line right here also, just so I'll know where to start. On my straps, I did 3 inches, so it ends up being 1 inch. Did I do 3 inches? No, I did 4 inches. 4 inches. And so what I'm going to do is take this ruler. I'm going to use this ruler. If you don't, you can take it to the cutting board, but I have this little mobile one, the small one. I think I got from Amazon. And I'm measuring. Let me turn around before I do it. So I'm taking my ruler. My strap's 1 inch wide. So I'm taking my ruler. I'm lining it up with this line. And what I did is I made sure with this line right here, I lined this up so I could check to make sure I'm not doing a cockeye line. And so I'm just going to use my cutting tool. My Fiskars cutting tool I got off of Amazon, and I'm just going to cut 1 inch on this side and then 1 inch on that side. So let me do that. I have to do it upside down, so I right side up for me, upside down for you guys. I know it's scary cutting your vinyl, but I'll live on the edge a little bit. Live on the edge. So I'm going to line it up the best I can. Got a glare on here. And I'm looking at these lines to measure up my ruler with, because I want it even. Okay, so I'm going to go across 1 inch. So I made my first mark. It may not go all the way through, so all you have to do is if it doesn't go all the way through, just take your cutting and make it go through a little bit more. And it looks like it won't fit, and you have to kind of wiggle it in there, but it will fit, and it lays right. So let me do the other side. Line it up, make sure it's even. Sorry for my head in the way, I have to look at it here. And then just cut. Scary, scary, scary. And so make sure it's 1 inch. And I stick the whole thing through. I dropped my cap, I think. Yes. I'm always dropping something. I don't want to leave this without a cap because I'll end up poking and cutting myself. It's very sharp. So there are our holes that we're going to stick our strap through. And the strap is, what do I do with the strap? Hello. Let's see why I knocked it over. Oh, I don't know why y'all watch me. I lose everything. Oh, there it is. I did knock it on the floor. Another thing on the floor. Crazy, crazy. Okay, so we are going to pick the side that you want to show. I want to show that side and make sure when you stick it through that your straps are correct. So I'm going to stick it through here. And I only stuck it through now. And it looks like I'm really struggling and to get it through. And it is a little tight. But that's how you want it. And then you just see how it comes out. You don't want it real big. So it may seem like it's not big enough, but it really is. And so you bring this around, make sure it's lined up, and stick it in the other side. Pull it through a little bit. And you just have to see how it's wrinkled there. You just have to fix that and it'll lay flat. Just pull it up a little bit and see it lays flat. Now, several ways you can do this. What I did was I pulled it through 3/4 of an inch on both sides. And I'm guesstimating right there. So I'm going to check and see if I got 3/4 of an inch. Nope. Maybe a little bit further. There we go. A little bit further. Go back a little bit. So that's 3/4 of an inch. And I took tape and stuck it down like that. Now, what you can do is put glue underneath here and let it dry. And that's probably the simplest. But you have to let it dry. And y'all know me. I want to get her done. And then I'm going to put tape across here. I think I might try just some painter's tape instead of my double-sided tape. And what you want to do, you don't want to put tape right at the top because that's where you're going to be stitching. And that way you keep your needle out of the tape. And since we just did a strap, I can see fuzz and I can feel that my needle is sticky. And so I'm going to take my alcohol wipe and wipe it first. You probably should do this after every time you stitch through tape because it leaves a sticky. You can even feel it on the thread. So I'm just going to clean this real good. all the way around, down by the point. I pull my thread out because the stickiness can get on your thread. And then just feel it and see if you got it good enough. Squeaky clean. Okay, now rethread it. I'm going to cut off some of this because it feels like it's sticky to me. I'd rather waste thread than waste a whole thing of vinyl with it nesting up. Now the thing is, it gets in the hole, so it may be hard to get your thread through. So I'm going to use my handy dandy needle threader, stick it through. Let's see if I can use my handy dandy needle threader. My automatic needle threader does not work on my Juki or my Janome when I have a jean dental needle in there. I have no idea why, but every time I change the needle to a regular needle, it's fine. So who knows? I'm sure it's operator error. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Nope, I did it right. This always gets me. This is not a hard thing, but to me, it obviously is. So I cleaned it out, and that was good enough for me to just stick it through. Okay, so now what we're going to do, and I think I'm going to put more tape on this one because these came off last time. I'm using painter's tape, and I'm just going to stick it down to make sure they stay in place and they don't move. I'm going to stitch across here, right above the slit, and I'm going to stitch right at the slit, and I'm going to do a block. Just so it doesn't come up, you don't see the slit. It looks like it just goes into the bag. And now, let's top stitch. First you want to put it across. And I'm going to start where I've already stitched the handle. Number 4, all the way across to the other side. Turn. I'm stitching right on top of the slit right here. And then I'll come back later after I do my square and stitch on right atop the square. Needle down. My husband just yelled at me. I got an Amazon package. I know what it is. He doesn't, but I do. Okay, so let's go across here. And I'm just feeling, I kind of made an indentation so I can see the bottom of the, or see the indentation of the bottom of the strap. And just go across to the other side, right, trying to line it up where your handle stitching is, so it looks like it's all one. The best you can, making sure your lining, remember we moved our lining out of place, out of the way, up. Gotta slow it down or my stitches are going to be small. And I'm going to go up more because I'm going to stitch right across the line above where I cut. walk it to where your stitching was. Come down and go down just a little and back stitch. Let's see how we did. Ugh, not real straight. I'm not going to sweat that. So, one of my lines is crooked. I'm not sure anybody will notice, but they may. So we gotta decide. Do I want to put it in the shop or do I want to give it away? Okay, so we're going to start going across right at the stitch line. I'm going to move it a little bit further up. I know this is kind of cumbersome right in my throat area, neck area, but you just roll it, and this is pliable, so making sure nothing's moved. So I'm going to start it a little bit further, and then I'm going to go across the top where it's cut. Trying to take it slow. I forgot to back stitch, that's why I went back that far. Down where you have your stitching on your handle, line it up the best you can. Come on down. Walk it to the end probably would be the best because you want to get it at the end. Come around. Feel where it is so you can try and line it up as straight as you can. Kneel down, pivot, and then come back up. And I'm going to come just past the stitch line. I mean the cut line, and come across. Oh, I didn't do my square very well. I have to draw it next time. Another thing is I forgot to take the tape off. What I did with this one, once I stitched across this line, I took this tape off, and I forgot to do that this time. So what you want to do is you want to stitch across the cut line and then remove your tape. And I didn't, so I'm just going to leave it now that it's done. And let's see. Ugh. Which one's better so I can make it the front? Oh, this one might be better. So there they are. See how crooked that one is? Oh well, we got those done. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put it together. Actually, you know what? I need to put my name on it before I forget to do that. So if you have a name plate or you have a handmade plate that you want to put on it, pick the side you like and put your name plate on. This is chalk and that'll come off. So I'm going to get my name plates. Now I was getting my name plates locally and they were leather. And I was paying $1 a piece, I think it was. Not bad for leather at all. But the last couple of times, it was just too dark. And he agreed. So I ordered the rest of these from Heartwood and Hide, and I'll put the links, all the links below. You can get leather. These are the leather ones. You can get vinyl. You can get, those are the leather ones from the local person. Let me get my other ones. Here they are. So this is leather, but you really can't see my name because it's kind of dark. And then this is the vinyl I had done with Heartwood and Hide. You can do leather too with Heartwood and Hide. But I did vinyl and then I did cork. And here's the cork. And I need to move the light. It's better on my, move my table a little bit and turn the light some. It is so cloudy and dark. We've had so much rain. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So there's a local guy, and it's kind of dark. And then here's the cork. And then here is the vinyl. And I got two colors in the vinyl, two different types of vinyl. I got a darker vinyl, and I got like kind of like a gray. And then I got the brown vinyl. And I'm going to put the brown on here, because I like the brown with the navy. I could do one of those maybe. Yeah, I might as well use them up. He was just struggling to get it wider, and the dyes weren't consistent when he was dyeing them. He normally does larger shades, and he's very good, but the nameplates he was struggling with, I think I like that one better. I don't know. See, one is dark, they did, and then one, my name is kind of light. You can't really see my name, so I'm going to do the darker one. So, and he pre-drills the holes, and he did a little hole, but they're not big enough. So I take my hole punch, which is my grommet hole punch, and it's got two sizes, and I just punch it a little more. My husband decided to mow the back lawn before it rains again. And then next week we're going to 90-degree weather every day. Oh, it's going to be hot. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, so now since I already have my line, I don't really, because I did my line for the measure thing, I'm just going to put it right above, right below it, and I'm going to make 2 marks. Move my lining out of the way. I'm going to take down those straps on to keep messing with them. Stay. So I know the center is 2, 3, 4.5. So it would be 2 1/4, which is right there. So I'm going to move this down. I'm measuring in between the straps, and I know pretty much where the center is on my name. And put it there. Then I'm going to use my friction pen. Make sure it's even. And I need to have to do that again because the hole didn't go all the way through. Okay. Now I'm going to make a mark for my rivets. Hole punch those with my handy dandy hole punch. If my hole punch didn't reach it, I would use the tool, the hand tool in the rivet. Where you hammer it. I need to make that more clear where I can see it. underneath here with the shadows. I'll do a different color, like red. Okay, so I got my nameplate on, and let me tell you what I did. Here's the kit. I know it sounds like a recording, but there's new people that come on my videos every week, so I want to make sure they know. I got off of Amazon. I don't have a rivet press, maybe 1 year, but I just use this tool and this tool, and I use a hammer to hammer it in. And I have more, even though they're not here, but I have more silver than I do have gold on the size I like, and the bronze. So I put silver rivets, you know, because we're trying to do budget, using what you have most of. And then what I did was I super glued the little prong, little dot on each one before I put the cap on. And then I hammered the cap, and I put more glue on top because it kind of went through. And then I put tape across, and then I put duct tape across that. And then on the other side, underneath, I used fabric tack to glue this down further so it doesn't come off. I think a couple of videos ago I told you that mine came off on one of the purses for myself on my Caitlin by Candle. And a friend who's also a customer that bought a purse for me that loves this purse, hers came off. And it was a smaller rivet. It wasn't these. It was the 6mm, not the 8mm. So I'm using silver. Now we got pretty much like 2 steps left. Let me take this tape off, painter's tape. I have an embroider. I could have embroidered a design on here, but a lot of people don't have an embroidery machine. So what we're going to do is we want to unzip this a little bit so we can open it up. I'll clean it up afterwards. Match our right sides together, main fabric, and then our lining together. And we're going to leave an opening at the end here to turn the back. And I need to close this up because I hadn't decided if I was going to use this or use the lining. There's both ways you can do it. I like using the lining so I don't have to struggle so much with this pocket. But it's already ironed, ready to go, and I can sew that up once I sew all this up. So, get our clips out. I am using clips, these clips to do this because I don't want it to move. I may use, let me see, I think I can use these hair clips on one's the vinyl and the other on the material, the fabric side. You can tape down your handles if you feel the need to, so they'll be out of the way. I'm putting the zipper part right at the end towards the lining, back towards the lining, matching up the ends. And I am going to put a heavy-duty clip there. It's kind of cumbersome with this. Start over again with the handle sticking up. So you can tape them down. If you like. I'm going to try it without taping it down. My dog is whining at the door because he wants to go outside. Now he's scratching at the door. Do y'all hear that? I need to tell my youngest to come get the dog. There she is. She got the dog. Whoops. And if these don't quite match up, your ends, don't sweat it. We can trim it. Match up. I used to sweat a lot more than I do now. I don't know. Maybe it's age. It's like, people really notice those little bit of different stitches. Sewers, yes. Everyday people, no. I mean, they're buying purses from sweatshops, and you can see a difference. And stitching, and sometimes they're using industrial machines, and sometimes their stitching's not that great. So I don't sweat as much as I used to. And I know it's hard when you don't have a lot of money and you don't want to waste, you know, material making mistakes and stuff. But there's usually a way you can save it. I can usually find a hack or something that will work fixing it where no one will notice, or it looks like a design feature. So I learned when I was worked for a company in Wizard and Border, and they did logos for schools, and so I would embroider the logos. But they also did, if a person came in and wanted a monogram or whatever on something, we do that too. But boy, I learned working for them, don't sweat it, just run with it. There's lots of hacks that you can do in embroidery and sewing. I mean, of course, there's always something that cannot be fixed, but I think for the most part, you can. So I'm going to start my lining, and I'm going to leave a big gap as much as I can, but not too much where I can't do the edges. And I'm going to change my stitch back to a 2.5. I am going to add a little more pressure, especially sewing over the fabric. It's not that thick. I'm going to add normal pressure. I'm going to leave my Teflon foot on there. I'm going to start on the lining part, and I'm going to sew just from this corner up to that corner. Don't sew these edges. Sew from here all the way down to that, corner. Don't sew these edges. Go all the way across, back up and down and around. Except you don't sew these. This is where we're going to box our corners. Move everything out of the way. And I am going to use, what am I going to use? Everybody does 3/8 right now. So I think I'm just going to do 1/4. And I'm going to back stitch a couple of times just so it won't come apart when I'm not sewing to the edge, because I'm going to, or am I sewing to the edge? Yes, I'm sewing to the edge. Okay. Because sometimes I'm thinking, you know, we don't sew the edge because we turn it, but we're not turning it. I kind of got scrunched up. So I left an opening. So now we're going to sew down this side. Quarter of an inch. Back stitch. This is where it gets tricky right here by the zippers. So I may switch to my walking foot. I don't usually have to do that with my Juki semi-industrial, but with this one, I do. But let's see. Let's see if we can do it. Or my hump jumper. I can use my hump jumper. Let me get my hump jumper out. This is my hump jumper. One side's thicker than the other. It just depends on what you need. And you stick this part in between the needle. So I can go a little bit further, as far as I can go. Needle down, pressure foot up, I'm putting the thicker part up, and I stick it right in the needle as far as I can to help it over this hump. I'm going to come across here and help it down. And hopefully there's no skip stitches. Looks pretty good. It's sewing well on the spine. I'll have to adjust my stitch pressure. Because of the straps, I should have them down. It's kind of pulled the top away from the edge. I'm not going to worry about it. Back stitch. I'm going to cut my thread. And we're going to sew across the bottom and back up the other side and across. Over here. Needle up, presser foot up, turn your threads, and go down the other side. Somebody's at the door again. I'm going to finish this. Back stitch. Okay, so we're coming up and we want to sew up as far as we can to the zipper part. Okay, there's where it's stuck. Needle down. Hump jumper. Lift your needle, let your presser foot up. Stick it in there as far as you can. And then you're going to have to help pull it a little bit. And when you get to the top, needle down. Bring the thinner part over here, stick it under here, and then sew down this way. And you shouldn't have skip stitches. Stitch, trim the threads. Oh, that's what was holding me up. My tape came off. Let's see. Yeah, see how I put double side tape? It's still sticking, so I just may leave that and leave the duct tape off. Now we got one little side to do. And then we'll do our corners and we'll pull it through. Oh, I'm going to sew up, go ahead and sew up my, you know, they're not going to see these threads, but I still like cutting them. I had a friend that did these purses, and she's like, no, I'll never cut them if you're not going to see them. I love people that just don't care sometimes like that, but want to do that. Okay, so now we're going to box our corners. So if you take and you pull it apart and you want to line up, pull it apart, and you want to line up this seam allowance with this seam allowance. You can open your seam allowances, or you could just put one to one side and one to the other, and I think that's what I'll do. One to one side and one to the other. Just make sure they're lined up. And I'm going to use these clips to hold it in place. And I think I'll use a steel 1/4 inch. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Match up the centers. One side, one the other. Clip. Okay. Now I'm going to keep it at 2.5. And just stitch straight across. I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Back stitch. Back stitch. Trim the threads. So there's one side stitch. Now let's stitch the other one. Keep it pulled apart. Line it up for 1/4 inch. A long thread there. More threads. I would save a lot of thread if I could use my side cutter, but it needs sharpening. This doesn't cut well, and you know, I don't want to mess with it. I don't know if you can sharpen it or not. Look how long that thread got. So, got that done. Now we're going to do the lining. Box the lining. Same thing. Match up the centers. Pull it apart. Pull these apart and match up the centers. One goes one way, one goes the other. And clip. Every time I say that, I think about this exercise video I used to do. And we would do the grapevine. I don't know if y'all know what the grapevine is, but look it up. It's an exercise thing. Do the grapevine and then clap. Grapevine and clap. And so every time I say and clip, I think about and clap. And my kids have that video memorized practically because I did it so often. They just thought it was hysterical. Grapevine and clap. So this is box corners and clip. Okay, same thing. Straight across, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Back stitch. Trim our threads. On my Juki, what's nice about the Juki too, if you can ever afford a Juki TL 2010Q, you will love it. It's $9.99 in most places is what I paid for it, and with taxes it's a little over $1,000. And it sews much better, but you have an automatic cutter that you can, it's on the foot pedal, so all you have to do is press back on the foot pedal and it cuts it, or you have a button on your machine, and when it cuts it, the bobbin thread doesn't come all the way out, but you don't have to pull it out each time. It just saves thread and you just start sewing. It doesn't come out. Normally you'd have to pull your bobbin thread up further on top. With that Juki 2010Q, you don't have to. What is nice features? I was used to the up and down needle and used to the cut feature, not the foot pedal part, but a button to cut it with my Janome sewing embroidery machine. And then I went to this one, I'm like, ugh. And it doesn't have it on my vintage ones either. You just have to adjust to every machine. When you're sewing on one for a while and you go to another one, you go, ugh. I gotta relearn this practically. Okay, we are almost done. This is simple. You could probably do it better than me. Just measure out how big you want your tote. I'll go ahead and sew this lining closed. I'm going to give it a press. Make sure I don't pull you off here. Give it a quick press so it'll be easy to put together because one side came unpressed. Oh, I don't have iron on. Let's see. It may take a second. Oh, okay, we're gonna roll with it. I'll just put a couple of pieces. So my next video is going to be the Harlequin using what I have on hand. Free pattern from Created by Leanne. Very popular pattern. I'm using 1/8 of an inch seam allowance here with a 2.5 stitch length. Taking my pressure foot in. I'm using the Teflon pressure foot. Simple straight across. Okay, now we're going to pull her through. That's why you gotta make sure you leave the zipper open. I don't think I'm going to trim these quite yet. I'm going to pull it out and see if I want to trim them. Since I only did a 1/2 inch. A lot of people trim them down to 1/4, but we'll see. This is going to be the tricky part. You just have to manipulate it. Grab a corner, reach in and grab a corner, pull it up through. We got woven fuse too from Got Interfacing by Barb's bag. It's so soft, so nice. A little bit thicker than SF101. Her regular woven fuse, there's woven fuse and woven fuse too. Her regular woven fuse, from my understanding, is like SF101. Now, pushing it out. And before I seal it, I'm going to just check everything. Okay, that's matched up pretty well. Put the corners out. I think I'm not going to trim them. Not bad, not bad. Poke your zipper corners out. Hopefully not break it down. I have to use a poker. Save the nails. my motto. Save the minute. Okay. This one's a little bit harder to pull out, so I am going to, I've already broken one nail. My nails are not long, but I'll take every little bit I got. And this side's definitely not perfect. Oh yeah, the poker helps, definitely. And do the other side. So I take the flat end of this and push it out further, and then I take the pointy end to get it more. Just gotta work it. I want that out right there, and it's not coming out. Trying to roll it. Let me try my other more rounded poker. These corners out. I'm going to temporarily tuck it in just to see how I like it. If I need to adjust more. Oh, it's pretty. Oh, but you know what I did? I like my zipper to go on the back. My zipper pocket's on the inside, but I put it on the front. Oh well. Cute bag. Cute. That is cute. Let me back up. Let me pull you up. And there's that cute little bag. Not a huge tote. The top ends. Very cute. And I'm probably going to put a tassel hanging down just to add a little decor. So let me pull you down here. And back up a little bit so you can see it. I like how the shape came out too. I like it. So let me sew the lining and we'll be done. Pull out the lining back out. Put up one poker. Exciting! I hope this encourages you. Create your own pattern. Draw a square. If you like 12 by 12 and a half, it'll end up like this small. If you want bigger, do a bigger square. 14 by 14 and a half, or 14 by 14, or 15 by 15. Just give it a shot. And if you don't want to waste your vinyl, afraid that it may mess up, use it on scrap fabric and see, or fabric you don't like that well. I'm going to iron this, and then I'm going to sew it closed. I'm going to iron the table closer. I will definitely put this in the boutique or the other store. I was going to do Etsy, but I looked and watched some videos about Etsy these days, and I'm not going to do Etsy. People are getting canceled, and they're not giving a reason, and I don't know. I'd like to do Etsy. It'd be a lot easier. And then if you don't give free shipping, they don't recycle or show your stuff. They put it at the bottom where people can't find you. It'll make it hard to find you. You know, they have thousands, if not a million now, of crafters. So, all over the world. So I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. stitch length, and 1/8 seam allowance, and 2.5 stitch length. Yeah, I had it right. Hello. My foot pedal always gets lost from underneath there. Back stitch, I'm not changing my thread. I'm not worried about it. I could have pulled this through my zipper pocket and stitched it closed, then put it back through and stitched my zipper pocket, and that way you wouldn't see this, but I don't. It doesn't bother me. This is how we used to do it, and you can do it both ways. I don't think really anybody looks at the stitching at the bottom of the. I'm always doing that, wasting thread like that. So trim your threads. Tuck it back in. And it fit perfectly. So there's the inside. Can y'all see the inside? The zipper pocket's right there. I didn't put any slip pockets. I just did that. One pocket. I probably should have done slip pockets, but. And there you have no pattern tote bag. Free budget sewing. Stitching in the tabs inside because we didn't want to use our other ones, our end caps. Anyways, I hope this encourages you. I love this little bag. It's not that big. It's really perfect for me. I like them a little small. Not too small, medium size. And so here you have no pattern, budget sewing. Get started. You can create your own pattern in a tote bag especially. And a lot of people love tote bags these days. So thanks for watching. I'd love a thumbs up. That helps other people see my videos. When you give me a thumbs up. And if you've never subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. And you can see my next video. If you click that bell, it'll notify you when I put my next video. It's going to be the Harlequin pouch. I'm just going to do the pouch, not the crossbody. And it's a free pattern from Crafted by Leanne. And I'm using what fabric I have. I'm using some vinyl, that real pretty, I think I showed y'all. This real pretty vinyl right here with black vinyl. So pretty. Anyways, my punt embroidery. Dot interfacing by Bars Bag is my interfacing. And my nameplate is Heartwood and Hide. And I'll put all the links below. Y'all have a great day.